X-Pac 12360. Featuring weekly news, insider commentary, and interviews with superstars, past and present from the world of pro wrestling.
A new day is dawning for DX.
And now, your host, Sean X-Pac Waltman.
After watching WrestleMania 15, today's guest decided at age 10 that he would be a professional wrestler. He started working the indies in 2003 and would eventually win the Battle of Los Angeles, hold multiple titles at Dragon Gate, and become Prince Puma, the inaugural Lucha Underground champion. He is a 3-time Best Flying Wrestler of the Year, and alongside partner Matt Seidel has captured the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title not once but twice. Please welcome to the show King Ricochet.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. They said you were gonna give me like a little introduction. That introduction was like, it was great. It was not just a little introduction.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
That she does that to butter you up so you can give us some good shit, man.
Yeah, now start spilling.
Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate you joining us. Thank you.
No, this is not a problem. I remember Sammy Callahan actually first asked me about it, and I was like, yeah, that'd be great. And then, so I gave him my number, and yeah, this is gonna be sweet.
Yeah, man. Hey, before we get into it, listening to Christie's intro, WrestleMania 15. That was what did it for you, huh?
That was I liked wrestling, but for some reason, the Rock Austin match, for some reason, it just drew me in, and I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I wanted to be.
I was hoping you were going to say my match with Shane, but okay.
Which was also a good match. But you know what I mean? Like,
damn it.
For some reason, it was that. It just drew, and I was like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, and you know, you're from Paducah, Kentucky, home of Tony Falk. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know Tony very well.
Yeah. And
I know Tony.
But the thing is, y'all two are from the same hometown, and you just don't sound like you're from Paducah, Kentucky, man.
Sometimes if I get like real excited or something, the countryside will pop out of me.
Hey, how did you get hooked up? Okay, for people that don't know, you were trained by Chuck Taylor and he, you know, people that follow Chikara know who Chuck is, and I'm a fan of Chuck's. I'm surprised, like he never caught somebody's eye in WWE, because I mean he has so much to offer. How did you get hooked up with them to start wrestling training?
Well, actually, I at the time it was like my best friend, his dad knew a guy who owned this like local convenience store, like grocery store.
Yeah.
And the guy, like one of the kids that worked at the grocery store, was a wrestler, and told him we could get us tickets or something like that to this small little show. So we're like, yeah, sure. And it was a backyard show actually. So but Chuck Taylor didn't like my original trainer was a guy named Will Woods. His name was Kid Sinister.
Okay.
But then maybe like not even a month later, like Chuck started wrestling for them like a lot more often, and then so Chuck started like helping them train me and stuff. So yeah.
So when kids, not to throw shade on him or anything, but when Kid Sinister was training you, when Chuck got a hold of you, did he have to reteach you? Like, did you have some bad habits that you had to break?
No. Because the guy Will Woods, he had trained. I forgot what school he went to. He went somewhere though.
But he was,
and
so he had a proper training under his belt.
Yeah. Him and Chuck both had proper training under their belts at the time, and but no, like they did really well, like teaching me like even like the basics, like you know they weren't just teaching me these crazy things that you think
like the
kids would teach kids, but they were teaching me like actual hitting the ropes, like the actual form of it, and like the actual, I guess, art of falling, bumping, or whatever. You know, they were teaching me like the proper ways to do it, and they were making sure I wasn't just being some idiot with it either. So, thinking back on it, you know, they really, I think they would have done it right. You know what I mean?
Right on. When you're Trevor, when you when you first started, how long did it take for you to cultivate what became your style? You know, I mean,
Oh, years. When I first started, I didn't really have a style per se.
right. Well, we
I
don't
didn't even know. I just knew
usually.
I could do flips. I didn't know anything. So honestly, like the style I have today, it took me literally 13 years to like uncover. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like I didn't start really adapting it until like maybe a couple of years ago, really.
Sure, and I've noticed watching some of your older matches and watching, you know, the progression, and I can see it. I can see the evolution of your style, and it seems like
Yeah.
you're figuring out what works and what doesn't, and you know, it looks like you've gotten rid of some of the things that maybe didn't work earlier on,
Yeah.
and very cool to watch that
Thank you.
from my
Yeah.
eyes, you know, from an eyes of a colleague. So
Well, not only
Yeah,
the
thank
style,
you.
but
Actually,
like,
I think I remember you being at it was I think it was me versus Kyle O'Reilly, and I want to say like it was one of the first Evolve shows, maybe like 4 or something like that. And I remember me and Kyle O'Reilly had our match, and Drake Younger at the time, who was there,
right,
he came up and he's like, "Yo, X-Pac, loved you guys' match," and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh man, that's so cool."
yeah,
It was
man,
awesome.
yeah, it was great.
But yeah, it just like you said, it just took me a long time, but just finding what worked and what didn't work, and you know when to like save the bigger stuff and the bigger bumps for you know bigger matches and stuff. But again, it just took me a long time but I just finally you know figured what worked for me, I guess.
Yeah. Did you have you gotten it down to the point where you can separate it like you know your average live event house show match
Yes,
and
actually,
your big show? Because some people
sometimes-
can't. They just go out there and even
Yeah,
on the
no.
small shows they do everything.
I know people like that, and actually, it's harder for me to turn my switch on because I'm so used to like, especially like when you're in New Japan, you tour, you have you know 5 shows a week, but 3 of those 5 shows are probably like smaller like house shows,
Yep.
you know, so we have to obviously like we don't go out there and do everything, so like I do those in a row, then we get to the big show and I have to like turn my switch on,
Yeah.
you know, and it's hard for me to turn my switch on because I'm so used to.
Sure. And so when you first went to Japan, you went for Dragon Gate, right?
Yes, in 2010.
Yeah. And okay, when you first went over there, I know what it was like for me going over there, and you know the language barrier. How was that? How was the whole experience? Like the first time you went to Japan, and you know, not just the culture shock, but the you know dealing with having to wrestle guys that don't speak English.
Yeah, I was just telling. I was in Spain last weekend, and I was talking about this because it was because like even in Spanish, I can understand. I can read some words and understand what they mean. I can
Yeah.
see what they mean. You know, that's not hard. But literally in Japan, it's like another planet.
Yeah.
Really, like another planet. Because I couldn't read any of the words, obviously, understand any of the language. I just didn't know. And again, it's like being on another planet with aliens who speak different languages than you and stuff. You
That's
know?
how it feels, man. When you get off the plane over there, I mean, everything, the buildings, just, I mean, everything is so
It's
different.
And so I remember trying to speak to them, I guess, because
Yeah.
I didn't know. So I'm trying to talk slow, but it actually turned out that a lot of those guys, at least the wrestlers,
Yeah,
knew some.
they speak wrestling English.
And then they speak wrestling English.
Yeah.
So that helped me out much more than, you know, they know all the wrestling moves and stuff, and I knew from what they were saying. So, like, but I remember, but then there's some of the guys that they don't know, like, any English. And even when it comes to wrestling English, they only know a little bit. So,
And Trevor, only when it's convenient for them. If it's something they
Only
don't
when
want to
it's
do,
convenient,
they don't
yeah.
understand what you're saying.
yeah, that's
They go,
actually, that's-
maybe
that's
so-so,
happened.
maybe change, maybe a little bit change.
that I remember like a couple first times. I'm like, hey, I thought you didn't know any English.
Right.
Like, oh, just a little. I'm like, nah, you know more than you think you know.
Yeah.
Aside from the language barrier, were there other things that were difficult for you when you first started working in Japan?
Trying to find like stuff to eat was kind of hard, but luckily his name's Pac, but he goes Neville in the WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was there, and he was there for a couple of years before I got there, so he kind of already figured out what was good, what wasn't good. So he kind of showed me some stuff to eat and stuff. So that was like that helped me out a lot, because if I didn't have that kind of help, I wouldn't have known what was good, what wasn't good, you know.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really a fish guy, and of course they like eat a lot of fish over there, and
Yeah.
I'm not a fish guy, so
What
that's
about
what was hard for me.
what about in the ring and wrestling, working with the other guys, working for the company? Were there any hardships that you encountered?
No, actually, like Neville, he was there, and we were like the only two for a while, but then Rich Swann came over. So like it was like me, Neville, and Swan. It was all us three. So we had someone to we all three had someone to hang out with. So that was cool. But no, like in the ring, like all the Japanese guys were very accommodating. They, you know, knew we didn't know much of the language. They knew we were new. At least for me, you know, they knew I was new. So like they helped me out during the matches and stuff, and then slowly added more, and then slowly helped me out more, and then. But no, like they helped me out a lot, and like, of course it took some adapting and getting used to, but like in the end, like I wouldn't say it was like too like hard, because they helped me out so much.
Trevor, how did that work when you so you work for both Dragon Gate and New Japan right now?
Yeah, I guess I'm not contracted with either one.
Right.
So I mean, I guess I could. But it's just that although Dragon Gate is making a lot of money, they're not on the scale of New Japan is,
right.
Obviously, because New Japan is the biggest. So they would always fly me out and keep me for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks at a time. And like, so it's just hard because I'm just so busy now. It's hard to find 3 or 4 weeks open.
Yeah.
So in New Japan, although they will fly me out there 2 or 3 weeks at a time, they also sometimes fly me out for like a day. I'll do a show and I'll fly back the next day.
Right.
You know,
It's gotta be pretty tough on your
it's
body.
it's just hard to find 3-4 weeks off to go for Dragon Gate.
But man, when you go over there and you have to, okay, I'm gonna just use my experience. If I have to wrestle the next day after I get there, I'm dead. I mean,
It sucks.
right? It doesn't matter how good a shape you're in, right? It's the jet lag thing or something.
Yes,
I don't care, man. Like, it would take almost a week for me to get adjusted after I have a match.
It does, and like that's the thing. Sometimes they will say we leave Thursday here, and then we'll land Friday there, and then Saturday we have a show, and then sometimes Sunday I fly back home.
Yeah.
You know, that like it kills your body.
It's brutal. Like it's harder for people that don't do what we do, that are listening. The travel, from my experience, is as hard on the body and just on my like everything.
Yeah,
like, it's
hurts.
as hard as the actual matches.
Mm-hmm.
It is,
You know?
man. Like sitting on a bus or a plane for 8, 9, 10, sometimes 15 hours. You know, sitting like it's not good, and
Are you
stand up finally, and your bones hurt.
Are you telling me that New Japan had you on a bus for 8 to 15 hours? That just doesn't sound like them.
Well, one time in Dragon Gate, we had to drive from Sapporo, which is like the top of
Sure.
Japan, all the way down to Kobe, which is like pretty far south. So
And you
we
have to
that was for Dragon Gate. You know, we had a long bus ride.
Well, you have to take a ferry to get from the North Island.
We took a ferry.
Yeah.
We took a ferry once. Yeah.
That's brutal. But that's not like the smaller companies, Trevor. When I worked for Universal Pro, I don't know if you ever heard of them, but they were like the precursor to Dragon Gate, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
And Michinoku Pro.
Yeah.
We were really poor, man. We didn't even get a hotel half the time. Like we'd drive into a town like 12 hours, and we'd go to this thing called a Kenko Land. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Yeah, I think I know.
Well, they have like games and like big cafeteria and food, and you can get a massage, and they have the
Yep,
bathhouse.
yep.
But everyone sleeps on this freaking on the floor on a mat in this big giant room, and it's
Oh, wow.
crazy. Yeah, it was either that or we'd get a capsule hotel. It's like sleeping in a dog kennel.
Uh-huh.
So
But no, Dragon Gate, like they do very well. It's just, and I've like I said, we only drove there once.
yeah,
The other times they got us flights, but I remember we had to drive, so that was like 16 hours. But sometimes for New Japan, even if we've got to travel from Tokyo to Osaka or Tokyo to Kobe, it's a good 7 hours.
they don't put you on the
7.5 hours.
Shinkansen on the bullet train.
Sometimes like we'll drive down to Kobe or Osaka and we'll have our match.
Yeah,
And then like if we have to leave the next day, they'll give us the Shinkansen back.
nice.
So, having
So-
worked for both Dragon Gate and New Japan, are there politics involved when you're working for both companies, or have worked for both companies?
Honestly, for me, no, there was never. Like I said, like I just got there and I just kind of did what they tell me to do. Like they tell me to have this match or this match. I'm like, okay, I'm just grateful for being here, you know. So and that's the kind of same like, and they're all like, they all are like family. Like they're all each other's brothers, and that's kind of how they treat each other, you know, just like brothers. And so like, just from what I've seen, there's no like huge politics in any of those, like the Dragon Gate or the New Japan locker rooms. Just from what I've seen.
It's really hard for us. It goes on. Trust me. It's just they don't show it like we do here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like from what I've
Yes.
seen, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's got to be. But
Oh, there is, and there's jealousy and
Yeah.
resentments, just like. But they don't they never.
no sell.
Yeah, and they don't tip their hand. They don't like show outsiders that there's dissension.
yeah.
You know. So,
so they were really good about that. So like everything was kind of everything was just kind of always cool for us. So we just again just did what they tell us to do. You know.
no issues with like Dragon Gate not wanting you to lose to anybody that when you go to New Japan. Nothing like that.
No, because like Dragon Gate, like they know their spot. Like right now, they're probably like the second most money making company in Japan right now.
I
Like
assumed
they're
that.
not. Huh?
I was going to say I assumed that they probably were.
Yeah, they're like this, like they're so like, and they know they're second, and they know like second is like the best they're gonna get. They know they're never gonna beat New Japan.
Right.
They're not like setting out to like beat New Japan. You know, they know like a lot of their guys are like friends with New Japan guys, so everything is all cool there. And so like, when they told me I was going to the Super Junior for the first time, I think they were more excited that Dragon Gate was going to get some exposure from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Sure.
so I think they were just like, you know, do whatever they tell you, whatever. And so I think they were just excited that they were going to get exposure off of it. This guy coming from Dragon Gate now competing in the tournament or whatever. So no, they didn't care at all.
Were there plans for you and Matt Sydal to do something big at Wrestle Kingdom 11 in New Japan before his issues over the border and everything?
Not that I know of. Again, they didn't like. I just got my schedule for this year like a couple days ago. Like, you know, they don't really tell us much in like too far in advance. I think they've got a lot of guys that they don't know. They want all of us there, but they don't know how to use all of us. If that, you know what I mean? Because there are a lot of us there now. So I think they're just trying to figure out like different and cool ways to start using us rather than just tag match here, tag match there.
Right.
So like, yeah, I'm not sure they had a plan for us, but
Does it like okay when they do that WWE too? Like, they don't know how they're going to use certain people, but they still bring them
Yeah.
to the TVs, and so for a lot of guys, they'll sit there without anything to do, and it can be frustrating, boring, any number of things. Like, does it get like that there? Same.
no,
way?
they always use us when they bring us out there. They'll use us in some form. So if we're out there, there's not like a day where we're just like sitting there not doing anything. If we're there, we're wrestling in some sort of match, whether it's the first match and it's like an 8-man 6-minute match, or if we're in like a big story or something.
Yeah.
We'll be doing something.
So hey, I want to go backwards a little bit. I want to say the first time I met you was in Chikara. Is that true?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot, for the people that have never experienced Chikara, it is. How do I explain it?
It's like the comic book version of wrestling.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very good way of putting it. And I really enjoy it. I think it's a great product.
Yeah, I love my time there.
Yeah, and man, I know. You sure have gotten put on some weight since you first started, huh? I
We have
not
a
lot of
picture.
weight, not a lot of weight, but like you filled out finally. How old
Yeah,
were you back then,
yeah.
man?
Especially, I was in maybe 125 maximum.
Oh, no way, really?
Maybe right around there.
Oh, man.
How
We
old
have
were
a-
you then?
The first time I went to Japan, I was like 130, almost 135 or something like that.
And
That
so-
was later.
And what are you now?
I'm probably sitting about 190.
Nice. That's a good
I'm
weight.
trying to get up to like 200, but I
Ah,
just travel so
hey,
much
man.
and I lose weight.
And I know like there's this thing that we get in our heads that, man, I just want to be 200 pounds. I just want to be
Yeah,
200
that's
pounds.
I think that's all it is.
Trust me, man. It ain't another thing, man. It's just, just
No, you're right.
it's
right.
how you
It's,
look,
again,
man,
it's just
and how
it's
you
a
feel.
thing in our head. I just want to
Yep.
be 200 pounds.
Yeah, you're
That's
not
what
gonna
it
make
is.
any more money. I promise
Yeah,
you,
it's-
man. You're already
it's a
gonna make
mental
tons,
thing.
and it's gonna have nothing to do with you being 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Well, we have
Again,
a picture.
like you said, I think it's more of myself being like,
course.
I need to do this.
And so that's a lot of weight. That but you still move fine.
Yeah, I think that helped
Obviously.
with being at Dragon Gate
Mm-hmm.
because their style's a little quicker. So I think it helped being there,
Yeah.
still being able to do all the stuff that I do. And, like sometimes, like not very often, but like on my days off, when we were filming Lucha and stuff, we would go to like these like parkour gyms.
Sure.
And so we would practice our flips and we practice our stuff, So, because that's the thing, I didn't want to lose a lot of my agility.
It doesn't look like you have.
No.
I don't think I've lost too much. I've lost a little bit, I can tell, but not too much. I still think I've done a pretty good job of keeping it.
I think so too, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, to me, like the little you're gonna lose for what you get. I mean, just being honest, man. Like how you look matters, and
Yeah.
and you look like a wrestler, And
Thank you.
You have a great body, great physique. Don't worry about the number on the scale, but
Yeah, it's crazy if you
Yeah.
compare the picture we have of you as Helios to Prince Puma. It's like young child
What is?
into manhood.
Hey, man, I'm wondering.
Wait,
What's
Craig,
up with
come
that
on.
hair, man? That hair, though.
That is funny.
What are you
Oh my
laughing at,
God.
man?
I still have that gear. I still have all of that.
Really? You don't
Oh,
sell
wow.
all your gear like the Bucks do as soon as you wear it?
I sold most of it. I still have that though.
Do you still have your SEMA gear that has the fringes on one leg?
I had two pair. I still have one of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about your weight and how it affects your style. Your style gets you a lot of praise. It's also garnered a little bit of criticism from some of
Yeah.
from some of the older school folks, shall we say. Do you care
Yeah.
about that?
No, I don't personally care, and I think a lot of that stuff stems from like that match I had with Ospreay in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And like the thing is like that's such a small part of like what I can do. Like I think like other than like Jim Cornette, who's like just
He's just
Bitter old man.
No,
a
well, he's
bitter
just
old
also
man
trying to get a
who just
reaction,
wants-
man.
who wants viewings. Like
Sure.
other than like people like that guy who are just bitter, I could probably find whatever fan out there and show them some match that I've done that they would enjoy, whether it's a technical match, a brawling match, a high flying match, something that shows my power, whatever. Like I could find a match that they would enjoy, I bet.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a pretty safe
The
bet.
thing is, okay, as somebody like, I'd like to think I have one foot in that old old guard, and one foot in the new.
yeah, of course.
And so I do understand where they're coming from. I just disagree with
Of
them.
course.
Now, I mean, so
Yeah.
I mean, and it's okay that they feel that way because there's a whole, there's a whole community of old, frustrated wrestling fans that wish it was the way it used to be, and that's fine. That's why they have.
Yeah.
That's why they have Me TV and Nick at Night, and you can watch reruns. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't get hot about that. Then again, it's not my match that they were picking apart, and that, and it was a masterpiece, man. You guys had a masterpiece.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I said, the thing that rubs me the wrong way isn't like that they disagree with it or whatever. Like, again, everyone has their own opinion. My thing is when someone says that's not wrestling.
Right. Well, what is? You mean your fake wrestling's not as good as their fake wrestling?
Exactly.
I mean, not to call, for lack of a better term.
But you're right. Because even like whether you look at the WWE's history or TNA's history or Ring of Honor's history or whoever's history, there's like so much different types of wrestling. There's like there's not one right or wrong way to do wrestling. There's some wrestling that I don't like personally, but I'm not going to say that's not wrestling because wrestling is whatever
art,
you
right?
need it to be.
And variety is the spice of life.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man, are we going to really have every match on the show go out there and do the same, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Come
and like
on.
I said, like in that specific match, again, like it's such a small, I don't do that, like barely ever. You know what I mean? Like that kind of style. I've been on tours where I don't go to the top rope one time. You know what I mean? I don't dive one time. I don't do. You know what I mean?
What is the reaction from promoters when you do that? Are they upset that they brought you in and you didn't do?
No,
this
is actually something I was talking about the other day as well with somebody. Although I think I've done a good job, but I've tried to. Not necessarily wean out, but I tried to stop going to the top rope and doing dives and doing crazy stuff. But I still think that I do a very good job of giving a very entertaining match. You know what I mean? Again, like I said, like I don't have to go, like that's going to the top rope for me nowadays is such a small thing of what I think that I can do. Like I've had some really good matches where I don't go to the top rope, where I don't dive, where I don't do stuff like that. But they're some of my favorite matches I've ever had. You know what I mean? So I think, again, like people who think that I'm just a flippy guy, I think stemming from that one specific match, and they only know such like a little bit of what I can do or what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
Is that how you got the name Ricochet? That was one of the fan questions we got.
Yes,
Doug
yes,
Frost
and
from
no.
Facebook wanted to know.
I remember when it was getting time for like my first match, and they wanted us to pick out our names. And I was trying to think of something, and Ricochet was one of the names that we all had picked out, but I didn't want Ricochet because at the time there was like a cartoon called
the
Mucha
rabbit.
Lucha, when one of the characters was Ricochet. So that was one reason why I didn't want it. And it was, for me at the time, being a 15-year-old kid, I was like, that's so dumb. I need something cool. I wanted like a two-person name, like John Cena or something, two-person name.
And that one was already taken.
So like I was trying to think of something, and then one of my friends, he couldn't think of a name either, and so on that day they were like, okay, you look like a Kevin, so you're Kevin, and then they were looking around, and one of my friend's cats was around, and his name was Hobbs, so he's like, you're Kevin Hobbs.
Oh,
and I was
Lord
like, I don't want to
mercy.
be Kevin Hobbs. So I was like, I'll be Ricochet.
Kevin Hobbs, that sucks.
Yeah. I was like,
Oh my God.
Kevin Hobbs.
So
I was like, I'll just pick Ricochet.
And Ricochet, come on, like now you understand that it's very
But
cool,
now,
right?
like now, I enjoy. Like I'm glad I only have like, because everyone has a two-person name.
Yeah.
You have all these guys that have two-person names, so.
And then you have your
I'm kind of glad I'm kind of
Goldbergs.
different.
I think it's cool though to have the one-word name and it rolls
Yeah.
off the tongue nicely. Ricochet.
Yeah,
Ricochet.
exactly.
It's got to.
Remember,
Your name has to be able to be chanted, else you're already
El Generico or Sami Zayn nowadays. He was the one that he was telling me that he thinks it's cool that it's only like a one, like.
Yeah.
It's not a two-part name.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, you had two names at Lucha Underground when you were Prince Puma. And they just announced that they've been picked up for a 4th season, like just literally in the last few minutes here. Are we going to be seeing you on that 4th season?
Oh, did they? Oh, no. I don't know. We're still talking. We're still seeing what's going on. Like I said, I'm open to anything right now, but I don't know.
Yeah, what's
We don't know
WWE
yet. It's up in
saying?
the air.
What's WWE saying? Don't try to tell
just
me you're
that they're
not talking
interested.
to them.
Just that they're interested, and of course I would like to go there,
Yeah.
but again, like I just did something the other day, but I just I was telling them that I have some stuff in like New Japan I still want to do. Like
Yeah.
I really want to be IWGP junior heavyweight champion. I feel like that belt, like I want that belt more than I want any belt in professional wrestling right now.
Right.
So, but I really want that belt. So and I really still enjoy Japan. I love going to New Japan. It's
Here's the
it's
thing.
great.
You're gonna hear people tell you different things, and you're gonna hear some people tell you, if WWE calls, you go. And I feel that way too. But at the same time, man, you also have to do what makes you happy, and it's a really cool.
Yeah.
It's a really cool thing when you're able to choose, man. When you have more
It
than
is.
one option, it doesn't suck.
I'm very blessed, and I'm very happy. Like it's weird that it's weird to even think about, but like even in this like type of position, it's crazy to me.
It's crazy what happens when you work your ass off, man.
Yeah, and
And you're a good guy, and you have a good
I'm
reputation.
trying to be, but that's I really want to win. I have a couple boxes I still need to check off before I check off that big main box. You know what I mean?
You've worked with so many of the new guys that are in the cruiserweight division there. Lindsay Dorado, Johnny Gargano, Austin Aries, Rich Swann. How would you feel about being put in the cruiserweight division if you would go to WWE?
I mean, if that's what they had me do, I would make the best of it. But I really want to like just go like a different path. I really want to like try
That's
to.
what I want to hear.
I would like to do kind of like the same route that like Finn Balor went, or like Kevin Owens went, or even like now like Joe. Like I want to do more like I would like to go to NXT, like be like NXT champion, stuff like that, and then move on to like I would personally like to be like NXT champion, and then for example, US or Intercontinental, and then that's kind of how I've just done everything in wrestling. Like I've gone from the bottom here to there to here, and then from here to there to here. I want to start kind of here and then work my way up to the top.
Do you want to stay Ricochet?
Like if I was in the cruiserweight division, I wouldn't. Not that I wouldn't have that opportunity, but it'd be much more difficult to get in that position.
Yeah, and the fact is they're just not featured the same. It's just the way it is. And
even though like they're just as good, if not better, they're just not featured the same. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I would want.
Yeah.
That's the kind of same thing. That's the reason why I still want to do New Japan a lot, because like started from the bottom of New Japan, and then I've been here, and then it's like the Super Junior, and then the Super Junior Tag League, and then me and Matt finally became tag champions, and then there's still like little things I want to do. You know what I mean? That's just how I've always been.
But we're talking about cruiserweight, and you want to be the IWGP Junior Champion and all that. But I've also seen you have a match. I've seen one match you had with a big Jeff Cobb, pretty good sized guy.
Yeah,
he's a beast.
So how many matches? Do you have a lot of experience working with bigger guys?
Oh yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I remember a long time ago, me and Uha Nation, who's now Apollo Crews, we had a match in Japan, and it was kind of, we kind of embodied it after Eddie Guerrero and Brock Lesnar's match.
Okay.
When Eddie Guerrero won.
Yep.
We kind of embodied it after that. Like he was just throwing me in. Like I think that was pretty cool. And like I wrestled like Michael Elgin a lot. Michael Elgin is obviously he's a big guy. Like we have a pretty good. But like the chemistry is there. The big guy versus the small guy.
And that's where you're gonna make the money,
man.
man.
Throw in a little like show off my power a little bit and like deadlift some of the bigger guys. You know what I mean? So I think there's a cool dynamic there.
Yeah, and I was just saying as I was rudely interrupting you, my experience, and I'm pretty sure it's the same, is the money is wrestling the bigger guys. That's just how it is right now.
Of course.
You know,
it's just you can get a better story out of it, I think.
it's more
But yeah,
compelling to me, man. Like the David and
is.
Goliath formula, man. That was my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, of course.
After a lot, you know, when I got to WWE, there were a few guys that were somewhat similar in size to me. But you know, I got used to real quick working with guys that sometimes were 3 times the size of me, man. Legit.
That's why it's like working with like Brian Cage or something. He's just the biggest guy ever, and
right.
But it's cool. It's really cool. But like you said, that's where the money's at. That's also like the story's just there. It's cool. It's a cool like dynamic. Like I said before, big guy versus small guy. You just can't beat it. You know what I mean? Age is old as time.
So not to backtrack too much, but if you do go to WWE or when you go to do you want to keep the name Ricochet and your whole character and everything, or would you be open to them?
I'm open. Like I said, I'm open to anything. If it's cool, it's cool. You know what I mean? Like, I'm open. It'd be up to them, really. Like, if they would rather me have a different moniker, name, that'd be fine with me. Again, like, as long as it's, I can still kind of incorporate myself into the character. I mean, then I'd be fine with it.
What was your experience like at your tryout there?
It was hard maybe one of the hardest things I've ever done. Cause it was just like cardio. They really tried to test you and make sure like they're getting like some athletes, you know what I mean? And so like I said, like anybody who does that, they can do anything because it was hard. At the same time, it was still really cool being in the performance center, seeing all the rings, seeing like the whole setup. It was pretty cool. But it was really hard.
So being in a WWE ring, they're so big compared to a lot of rings you've been in.
Like 20 by 20, something like that. Yeah.
The ropes are higher, and the ropes are actual hemp rope. And it is different for a guy with your style to work in a ring like that. You find it difficult?
No, I got used to a little bit of the bigger rings because I remember before I went to Japan, I was used to the smaller, like 16 by 16 kind of rings. But then when I started going to Japan, I used either 20 by 20 or 18 by 18. Like, I think it was 18 by 18 inside the ropes.
Yeah.
So I got used to a little bit of the bigger rings. So I kind of like the bigger rings now. So I'm kind of used to it. I like them.
But does the difference between cable and regular rope bother you?
Oh, that is hard. That's a little bit difficult. But I think I've kind of got it down. Like, again, 'cause I don't really go on the ropes as much anymore. But I do know on a cable, like the cable ropes, they're a little bit stiffer. So you can, when you hit them, like say you're going to do a springboard.
Yeah.
You don't go down as much. It's just like, here, go. Yeah. But on the ropes, it's a little bit different because if you springboard on the ropes, you're going to go down, and then it's going to spring you up. It's going to take a long time, but so I've kind of got it figured out.
That's why I always cheated a little bit toward the corner instead of right from the center.
I do every time.
Yeah.
I do every single time.
Literally
towards the corner.
Speaking of springboards, you mentioned Apollo Crews there, and I know you guys have been roommates for a while. Yeah. What kind of roommate is Apollo Crews?
Oh, he actually like he just moved out and got his own place like last month, but he's awesome. That's how we knew we could room together because we were in Japan for years together, like the same room.
No, no.
We stayed in the same.
In Japan, you had to share a room.
Well, we stayed at the dojo.
Oh, okay, never mind. Sorry.
I used to stay in this place. It was more of like we call it the sanctuary. It was more of like an apartment.
Right.
But then for some reason we just moved to the dojo. I think because the gym was better.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think that's why. But we were in the same room. Like I had like a bunk bed on one side of the room. He had his bunk bed on the other side of the room. We had like our own refrigerator. It was a pretty cool little setup.
Like a dorm.
It was like a dorm, exactly. That's what it was. And we're kind of the same. Like we're both pretty neat. Like neither one of us are really messy. We're both like, I'd say we're both clean people. We like kept everything clean and neat. So that's how we knew we could live together. And when he got signed, I was going to move down anyways. and so we just knew we could live together. So we just got a place together because we did it for years over in Japan. So.
Yeah, you spend your time with a familiar face. I see you posting photos on your Instagram of you with Tessa Blanchard. Blanchard, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, what is it like to date the daughter of a superstar? Do you ever talk to him about your career?
It's pretty cool. She's the coolest. She helps out a lot around here. She's the glue around here now because my buddy Akira Tozawa, who just debuted on 205 Live last night, he lives with me now. But she keeps everything together. She keeps everybody straight. She's awesome. But it's funny that her father is Tully because I don't know. It's just funny. He takes me golfing. It's really cool.
Oh, no way.
Well, I'm horrible at golf, but I love to golf because it's fun, and so that's pretty cool. And
I want to know about
do you wear the
Tully
golf
Blanchard,
outfit?
man.
Please tell me you have knee-high socks and the little hat.
dude, I had shorts on, high socks. I had the Tiger Woods tuck-in shirt with the hat on. I had a glove. I bought a glove. I don't know what the glove's for.
Does
Hey,
Tully
man.
rock all that stuff too when
Yeah.
you guys go?
No, he looked like a pro, obviously, killing it. He was doing really good, and I was not. But it's cool, just in everyday stuff. We went out to P.F. Chang's last night, I think, and I was I'm eating P.F. Chang's with Tully Blanchard right now.
Yeah.
It's funny to me. I think it's awesome.
Hey, do you ever talk with him about wrestling?
He came to one of our shows, and he I asked him if he would watch one of the matches, and he gave me some advice. We haven't had a sit down talk about wrestling, but I think we have a chance soon. I'm gonna hit him. I'm gonna take advantage of it.
Has he given you an idea of how he feels about what the product now?
He doesn't really watch it much nowadays. He's into his work, and so he keeps up with a little bit just in case he has to be called in to do something. Sure. But he I don't know if he has too big of opinion on it or not really. The product nowadays.
You're supposed to know these things about what's in other people's heads, man. Come on.
Yeah, but like I said, I think we have a chance. Maybe in 2 weeks, we're gonna go down there, and he wants to take me golfing. We're gonna go down to Texas, and he wants to take me golfing. So, I think we're gonna do that.
Nice.
That's cool. Well, while we're asking you to dish on everybody anyway, I think we would love to hear an update. Are you still in touch with Matt Seidel? How is he doing?
Yeah, I talk to Matt quite often. He's doing really good. I just it's quite funny because he had an injury when he crashed his motorcycle. That's how his foot injury happened. And I just recently got a motorcycle, so he's drive safe.
No,
He's
man.
he wants me to be real safe. So,
Come on,
but
man.
I was going to ask if you bought a new car, but I guess you bought a new motorcycle.
I got a truck
Oh,
and
you
a
did?
motorcycle.
Oh,
How about driving that truck more often than the motorcycle? Do
I do. I
yourself a
love my
favor.
truck. I love my truck, my baby.
I'm just saying that because I would never get on a motorcycle and ride on the street ever. I'm
Yeah.
so I just
It
don't
is
trust
scary,
myself.
bro. It is
I don't
scary.
trust myself or anyone else. I just know I'd be toast. But that's
Yeah. It is. I mean, it is scary. I'm always checking my peripherals.
Right.
I'm making sure because it is scary. Knowing how people are today.
Well,
Yeah.
Going back to Matt, what do you think the future holds for him, or do you guys talk about trying to work together again?
I would work with Matt anywhere. But the thing is with him, he's the most positive guy. Hanging out with him in Japan was one of my favorite experiences because he's so positive and it just rubs off. His positive, his brother's the same way. It just rubs off on you and it makes you happy. It makes you positive. So with him, I think literally anything is possible with him. I wouldn't be surprised anyway because his mentality, the way he thinks is so forward and positive that I don't think anything's going to hold him back for anything.
That's good to hear.
Let's talk about
Yeah.
some PWG.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay,
do it.
so I have an exclusive clip for when I interviewed you for my Young Bucks documentary, and I was asking you some PWG questions. We got it queued
Okay.
up.
Might be bad.
I was asking you your biggest accomplishment in PWG, and this was prior to Bola.
So far, either make it to the finals of DDT4 with my buddy Swan, or the semifinals
Okay.
of 2013 Bola, I think it was. I made it to the
Yeah.
semifinals against Elgin. That's a pretty big accomplishment for me. But so far, maybe the finals of DDT4 so far. Yeah, but this weekend, whenever I win Bola, come back and ask me that, because when I'm holding that trophy, then I'll let you know.
Nice.
Okay, so now I'm
Was
going to
that-
ask you
did I
that
win?
because you did win the trophy that year. We have a picture, I
Oh.
believe. So, what did you feel? How were you feeling after that accomplishment?
I remember that night because it was one of the coolest nights of my life, but at the same time I was in so much pain, because that whole weekend takes a toll on you, man. But I remember just holding the trophy because that was a place that
You debuted
loved.
at Ebola.
I debuted in Bola against Claudio, and I kicked him in the eye, and it swelled up, and it was like black and blue. And I actually just tweeted this the other day. Like, I still feel bad about kicking him in his eye.
I'm sure he got. I'm
He's
sure.
doing fine.
Yeah, I said say I'm sure he's over it.
I mean, we had to put meat on it and stuff. Oh man, I felt so bad. I felt bad.
He put a steak on it.
Winning that was really cool to me because that place obviously meant a lot to me, especially as an independent wrestler. It's such a cool place. It's like one of my homes here in America. So just being able to be thought of to be in the finals or to win it or whatever is still to this day the coolest thing. Is because that place means a lot to me.
How would you compare the Temple to the Reseda crowd?
They're very similar. Like, the Temple is pretty cool because the Reseda crowd is half wrestling fans and then half, I guess, 2/3 wrestling fans and a third of people who are
"This is
friends
the
of the
cool
wrestling
thing to do."
fans that brought them on, and they're just all drunk having a party. You know what I mean? But and the Temple, it's half PWG fans and then half, Spanish Mexican families who just really love lucha libre, so they're loving all of it. You know what I mean? So, but it's pretty cool, man. They're pretty similar though because they're both so. I don't know the word I'm looking for. Accepting. They just like wrestling and they want to see the guys in the ring and they want to see good matches. So they're similar in those aspects.
So they're not waiting to chant "you effed up."
No, actually, fans don't really do that much anymore.
That's a wonderful thing because that
It is, because
so
it used,
awful and
We
disrespectful.
put our lives on the line
Yes.
in that ring, and then sometimes, yes, things mess up. Yes, it happens.
I think
But they go right on it and don't scold us for it.
they get more of the "please don't die" chants. There was a
Yes.
time where Chuck Taylor went to do the jump straight to the top rope and
Yeah.
then dive.
And he
And he
slipped.
slipped and his leg caught
Yeah.
and bent,
I
and
know.
it looked like his knee was about to snap in half, and everyone was just chanting, "Please don't
No,
die."
yeah. I remember that specifically. It was disgusting. I know exactly what you're talking about.
So in Lucha Underground, I've heard you say in an interview, it's a TV drama about a wrestling company, which I think is a great way to describe it.
Yes.
So how much fun have you had doing the backstage segments there in the vignettes, especially punching through that damn punching bag?
Yeah.
How awesome was that, and how many takes did that take?
That take only took 2. Because the first time they had too much sand in the spot where I was going to hit it. And it only went halfway through. My fist did. But then the second one looked awesome. But no, those things are super fun. They're hard because you'll have to shoot the same scene however many times till they are, until they think it's okay. But the environment's really cool. The different cameras, seeing how they would do a TV show or a movie. Sometimes on screen when you're watching it, you think, "Oh, this looks so cool," and you see my Prince Puma's face or whoever, he's sitting there, but then you don't know there could be a little lighting thing that's this far off camera, right next to my face, and it's pretty cool knowing that when we're filming it and then watching it, and you don't notice any of it. For me, it's cool. It's a small little thing, noticing when things aren't on TV, but they're just right For me, that was pretty cool.
Speaking of things that must be pretty cool, I was working with Rey Mysterio.
Oh, that's a dream come true.
Yeah.
That is, you know how, like, I say this to everybody. You know how they say don't meet your idols because you'll be disappointed or whatever
Yeah,
they
of course.
say? Not the case at all. Like, that guy is the coolest, nicest, most humble, like, multi-millionaire ever. Like, he's the coolest, man.
Dude's like honestly, man, hard to come up with a better way of putting it. He's like an angel, man. Like
He's
I mean,
like an angel.
Yes.
He's a little cute angel.
Yes. Because there's not an ounce
He
of,
is.
there's not, I mean, even a drop of anything but good in his body and his soul.
You're right. Like, he's the nicest guy. For example, we were all out in front of the hotel talking about the Captain America Civil War movie that was just coming out at the time.
Right.
And Mysterio was like, "Oh, you guys see it?" He goes, "That movie is so cool, whatever, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Oh, we're talking about it." I was like, "You let us drive that Maserati right there." I was like, "We'll go see it tonight." And he was like, "You want to drive the Maserati?" And I was like, "Maybe I do." And then then I was just joking, obviously. And then so I was like, "Oh, no, I'm just joking, whatever." We go to our room. Maybe 10 minutes later, I get a text message from Rey Mysterio saying, "Hey, if you want to drive the car," he goes, "it's down there. He's going to go eat with his family." He goes, "So I'm not going to use the car. So if you want to drive it, by all means." And I'm like, "Are you serious? Like right now, like you let me drive your Maserati without your supervision?"
Yeah, why
He was
not?
like, "Yeah,
though?
no problem."
But why not?
So I walk downstairs and I tell the guy, I'm like, "Hey, can I get the keys to the Maserati?" And he's like, "Yeah." He told us.
This is the thing, man. When
Just picture Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
yeah, when
Yeah.
Just going with it.
when you're doing that good in life, who cares, man? If you wreck my car, it's fully insured. I can get another one. Go out and have a fun time, man. Like odds are you're not gonna wreck it, but if you do, just
No, yeah.
have your seatbelt on.
But just from that alone, like I told him, I was like, "Man, I don't know if I will let my mama drive a Maserati."
Right?
And he's just like, "Yeah, sure, you can take it." I'm like, and like that's just a small portion of like how nice that man is. That's just
Yeah.
a small little port. You know what I mean? That's he. I don't know. Here, let me see if I can. Sorry, guys, it's a little
Don't be
dark.
sorry.
You got something
You're right.
special you're gonna show us?
Yeah. So obviously we had our match,
Yeah.
and then as my hand's kind of shaking, he gave me his mask
Oh, nice.
Oh my gosh.
from the match we had on TV.
Wow.
Yeah, this is his mask he
Very
wore, and literally like he gave it to me, and I was like trying not to cry in front of my hero.
cool.
You know what I mean?
incredible.
That's amazing. I gave him a sword when he came in and we interviewed him for Lucha Underground because
Yeah.
I knew he collects swords. I gave him
Yeah.
a cane sword and he was so happy. He like lit up like a kid on
Yeah,
Christmas.
man.
I was
That's
stoked.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Hey, have you done any work in Mexico?
Huh?
Have you done much work in Mexico?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I've done not very much, but I've worked there a couple times. I've done Crash. I've done.
Oh, for Conan and them and Tijuana.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've worked there.
As Puma or as Ricochet?
I did Ricochet, but I worked Triple Mania last year. as
Ah,
Puma.
okay. I was wondering if you worked for AAA. How was that? For
Yeah, I
you?
did that as Puma. But other than that, my first time I went was for a smaller company, DTU.
Yeah, not familiar.
Yeah, it's a smaller company.
I-
Well, I've done a little bit, not too much, but a little bit.
How do you feel about working down there? What was it? Okay, my experience with it is, the working conditions weren't the greatest.
Yeah.
But the guys, I just love all the guys down there.
No,
man.
that's I was gonna say, like, down there, like the fans, they just want to see any type
That's
of wrestling.
right.
They don't care if it's the best, the worst,
Hey.
the most weapons or lucha, whatever. They just want to see any type of wrestling.
And like you were saying, it can be the worst, and they're still gonna dig it.
Those fans are that's lucha. They
Yeah.
love it. They love it. And so that was one of the coolest things about Mexico was the fans. And I remember like my first time going for the Crash, when I first came out, they didn't really know me. Like a lot of those people didn't know who I was.
Right.
But by the end of it, every single person wanted like a photo with me, and it's like I can't take a photo with everybody because everybody's asking me for a photo, and so they were just so accepting because again they just wanted to see a wrestling, whatever kind of wrestling. So
did they
no,
throw
it's
money
cool.
in the ring at you?
Huh?
Did they throw the money in the ring at you?
Yes, I
Wow.
got money in the ring. Yeah,
How great is that feeling?
it's great. I remember it happening at PWG, and I was like, why don't I ever get money thrown in the ring?
Well, you have to have the plant
thought
to
I
start
just
it.
had I guess so, yeah.
Why don't I get any money thrown in the ring?
Yeah, so I was like, I want money thrown.
Well, Prince Puma
But I
is.
think they had some plans in the crowd that were like throwing money in first, so everyone else would join in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good
For
idea,
sure.
actually. I mean, it's
I think that's what they-
it's just a primer. That's all.
That's all.
Yeah. You have to teach the people,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah, because the next
Yeah.
show, when that happened, they didn't need the plant to start
Exactly.
it because everyone just knew. Oh, now we throw money in the ring.
Now we throw money in the ring.
Well, Prince Puma is a Latino character, right? And you said before you don't speak a lot of Spanish. And what is your actual background?
I'm just a kid from Illinois. My dad was black and my mom was white, and we moved to Kentucky when I was like 3, maybe younger. And I lived in Kentucky until 2015. So
Yeah,
there's
'cause-
not much background there. I'm just a small town like kind of kid.
I thought you were
Aw.
Irish. O'Shea. I thought it was Irish.
Irish. I had wrestled in this company in Evansville, Indiana, for the Coliseum.
Yeah.
CCW in Evansville, Indiana, and my manager was Rudy Charles, who
Oh,
is
yeah,
now referee.
the ref.
Yeah, Rudy. He was my manager, and his name was like Dan O'Manley,
Yeah.
and I was Rick O'Shea, and we did like the small little heel gimmick for a while, and he was my manager. But I have been Ricochet.
See?
he was saying
See, I
that
told
earlier
you
before we
guys.
started.
I thought I was just making a really bad joke, and they
A
were
dad
just
joke.
laughing to be nice. But so,
Speaking of character, go ahead.
No, I was saying I used to be Ricochet. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of your different characters, I've heard you say that Ricochet and Puma are two different characters. Is now Dark Puma? Are you trying to make that its own character as well? Compared to the way that Puma would wrestle, or his style, or his mannerisms, how he comes out to the ring and walks. And,
like the Dark Puma is it's a little bit different Puma. He's a little more, I guess, edgy and a little more attitude to him, I guess you would say. Like not necessarily that he's a bad guy. He's just got a little more attitude to him, I guess. And you'll see that in the second half of the season.
when we say
not-
he, are we talking about you or somebody else?
Prince Puma.
I thought-
No, this was just for Prince Puma's
Okay.
the dark character, not for
Ah.
me, Ricochet, or at general. Just
I thought maybe at first when you guys started talking about it, I thought maybe it was like a black tiger to tiger mask type of situation.
oh
yeah. No. It's Prince Puma. He
dies.
he had died. He was in a
Oh,
casket.
that's right. I saw that.
And Vampiro
Yeah.
brings
He
him
got
back
put
to
in the
life.
casket, and then
Yeah.
Vampiro had brought him back to life, and so now he's a little bit darker, edgier Puma.
See, I didn't get to that part. I got to the part where you died, or where
Yeah.
Prince Puma died, but I didn't get to the Dark
resurrection?
Puma stuff. No.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Yeah.
that makes it sound like, I mean, you're essentially an actor goes along with professional wrestling. Is that something that you have considered pursuing?
Actually, that it had came up in one of the Lucha Underground meetings, like they're talking about other stuff like that, and it would be something that I would love to do in the future, But just right now, like for me, like there's not a better feeling than being like in the middle of the wrestling ring, like
Yeah.
performing. Like there's not a better feeling for me. Like I was actually it sounds weird, but I was doing the seminar over in Spain, and that's actually what I was talking about there, like about like the love for wrestling, because I was telling them that it's not as glorious and glamorous as people think it is. It's a lot of being in an airport for hours, or being on a plane for hours, or being at this building for hours. A lot of it, you're always tired, you're always hurting, you're always sore, I was like, most of everything about wrestling kind of sucks. You know, you got to work out when your knees are hurting or when your shoulders are hurting. You still got to work out. You still got to diet. You got to do all this stuff.
Yeah, but people only want to do the fun shit, man. They only want to do the glory, the stuff where you get the glory.
The only fun thing about wrestling is when you're actually in the wrestling ring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Performing, doing what you love. Like, but the fact that you love it so much, that's why you go through all of this stuff. That's why I go through all this stuff. You know what I mean? Because.
Sorry, man.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
No, you're good. I'm just saying, like, once you're in the ring, that's the feeling you want. You know.
Yeah. What else is really fun about wrestling is after you have a great match, like putting yourself over afterwards is really fun.
Yeah. Dude,
patting each other on the back is so good.
That's what I was telling
say
the
when
guys
fans
too.
throw
I was
money
like,
in the
other than like, you know, making money, I was like, what's one of the biggest goals in wrestling? I was like, it's to look cool.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So other than like making money, like to look cool, like is one of the reasons. I was like, so any chance you can get to look cool, whether it's after a cool match or whatever,
Yeah.
That's always a good feeling too. Yeah.
Hey, when Christy just brought up the acting, and it made me think when Lucha Underground does their tapes their shows, is everyone under SAG or AFTRA when it comes to that?
I don't think we are. I think because that was a thing that had gotten brought up because some of the people, like Morrison and Katrina, Carly,
Yeah.
and some of the other, like Melissa Santos, some of them are trying to like pursue acting. They were doing it before Lucha and stuff, so they're trying to pursue acting other things.
Some of them are probably already union.
Yeah, that some of them have gotten spots and stuff other places, and so they're I think that got brought up, but I'm not sure. I don't think we are though.
Huh. I mean, I just the reason I wondered that is because you know you're produced by Mark Burnett and you know Robert Rodriguez, and I mean they're in the film and TV industry, so I just thought maybe that was
I think that's something that got brought up, but I don't think we are.
Of all your years and all your crazy dives and flying, has anyone ever not caught you on a dive?
Oh yeah, hundreds of times.
Anyone specifically?
There's actually a clip of the double moonsault where I do it to the outside.
I think we have that clip.
Springboard double moonsault to the outside at Chikara. It was my second match in Chikara ever. And they're there, and then like they have good intentions. They're like, yeah, we're gonna get him, but then they just go down, and then I just hit the floor.
Nice.
That's the
like
one we
no
were
one.
watching,
Like
right?
I barely touched some hands, maybe.
And I can imagine everybody looking at the other guy. I thought you had him.
You know, so well the thing, like one of the guys, he was like further than close, but he's like just in case when you springboard you go further, he wants to be there. And I was like, that's actually a really good idea because that happens a lot. It happened to me before. So that's kind of why he wasn't there, but still, like, it's all good.
Yeah.
I know they had good intentions.
Yeah, but good intentions don't mean shit when you're
No, it don't.
in the emergency room and your career's over.
See, I was thinking of in the King of Flight tournament that Brian Kendrick put on, your match against Amazing Red, it looks like you dive out on Red and Red doesn't catch you. And then Red goes to dive, and you just step to the side, and he just plows into like 2 rows of chairs.
He told me to do that.
Oh, he told. Okay. See, I was showing Chrissy this clip earlier. I was like, I don't know if Ricochet was just like, oh, okay, I got you, and then just took 2 steps to the left and was like, huh, chairs
Way
caught
to
you.
sell
he
it,
told me to do
Ricochet.
that. But I remember, like barely skimming him and going off. Yeah.
And then
but,
you kip back up to your feet like, yeah, I'm good.
See, sometimes you have to, like, and your adrenaline's pumping, so you don't really feel it right there.
Oh man.
Now after,
But yeah, there's been multiple times where I just hit the floor.
and the thing is for guys that don't do this or that do this but don't do those type of maneuvers, after something like that happens, you still have to go out there unless you're going to eliminate that from your repertoire. You're going to have to go out there and do it without being gun shy, worrying about somebody missing you again.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Right?
And that's like the next night or whenever, you have to do it again.
And if you're
not gonna
gun
think
shy,
about
what
it.
happens when you're gun shy?
Yeah. Nervous.
Yep, you get hurt.
Yeah.
And that's actually that's what I've told this to everybody. I say overthinking is worse than not thinking a lot of the times. When you overthink something, like again, you hesitate, and if you hesitate,
Yeah. The best way to be is that you don't actually have to consciously think. It just happens.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's also what I tell people, because people ask me all the time, like, hey, how do I flip better, or how do I do this? And it's like, man, like I've just been doing it since I was 4 or 5 years old. Like, not like, again, a lack of a better term, like it just, that part comes so naturally to me. It's hard to explain it.
Yeah, and if
And
somebody,
I think I do a pretty good explanation nowadays if somebody asks me a question like
Yeah.
that. But at the same time, I'm like, man, like it's hard to explain for me.
and people, and I know I was like this when I was younger. I was terrible at doing backflips. I couldn't do one actually, really.
Yeah.
But I was obsessed with being able to do one. Never could.
Yeah.
But I learned that, okay, I was never going to be the best at it. Like, so,
Yeah.
and to me, you're one of the very best at it. Like, if there's anyone better than you. So, you know, yeah, it's good that you're doing that, but I wouldn't be that guy that was going, oh, I really want to, you know, learn how to flip, because it's really not going to make or break your career unless
You're right. Yeah,
you know?
you're definitely right. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Like, that's something I haven't really thought about. But
I mean, you get by in your matches when you don't do them, right? Just
yeah, oh,
fine.
definitely. And that's
Yeah.
what I was talking about earlier. Like, I try not to do them as often as possible unless I like have to, or it's a big match or something. But like you said, like, if, again, I guess if you're not going to try to be the best at it, yeah, I mean,
Plus,
But
I
you're
mean,
right.
there's so many people doing it. Like, God, maybe try to come up with something different. I mean, even the
Yeah.
way you've done it, you took, okay, you made it your own. Like all the
Mm-hmm.
different ways you do these things. Like, they're very distinctly Ricochet.
yeah, and that's the thing, like, especially with wrestling, like, most everything has been done. Like, there's not much nowadays that could be thought of that's not already been done,
Yeah.
if anything, to be honest with you. And so, like, it is about finding your way to do something, you know what I mean? Because no matter what you do, it's someone's already done it.
Right. Because, I mean, you know, a bunch of guys were doing double moonsaults before you did it. I mean, come on.
Well, actually, Jack Evans did it off the cage.
Oh yeah, in Ring of Honor.
He doesn't count. Come on, man. He's
He
a
did
freak.
it off the cage, but no one did it in a ring before me.
Right.
But I mean, just anything, like, I do a shooting star press as well, but Seidel has the best shooting star press in the world, so I try, like, to do it in a different way that's more me or something, you know,
Sure.
or like something like I said, Jack Evans, he was the one that did the 630 before me, you know. Well, he actually, a couple people did it before him even, but I try to find my own style, the way that I do it, you know. I feel like no one does it like I do.
No, and it's also where you do it and when you do it, and
Yeah, of
you know,
course.
because I mean, come on, man. I know you've run into these guys around the world even that can do just amazing things, but they still
Yeah.
really suck.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like, there are a lot of people like
You want to name names?
that are way
Anyone?
better. Like,
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
we want
let's
you to name
toss
names.
out-
I'm
Let's
just
toss
kidding.
out a
No,
name.
I don't want you to do
and
that.
honestly, I can't really think of like I can think of their faces, but I don't know like who are like much better. Like, they can do flips better than me,
Right.
but when it comes down to it,
They suck.
like, I feel like they don't work on the overall game.
Exactly. I'm just being a smart ass, but yeah, exactly. And you hope eventually they'll you know they'll get it. And so you know what I'm curious is injuries. Have you had any serious ones?
Nothing too serious yet. I've had, like, my ankles. Both my ankles are I think they're both bad, honestly. But I think I may have broke one of them. I think maybe my left one. I think I may have broke my left
Yeah.
ankle, but it wasn't even in wrestling. I went to this, like, open gym. It was like a gymnastics school, and they had, like, open gym like 6 to 8 o'clock or something. And I went and I just practiced in my flips and stuff, and I came down wrong, and I think I broke my ankle.
Yeah.
But I didn't have insurance at the time, so I didn't go to the doctor. So I just wrapped it up real tight and just used my brother's crutches.
And I mean, honestly, well, I'm not a doctor. I don't need to be talking about. what
You
your
were walking
shit
around with
is.
a broken foot.
Yeah. I was just wondering, like,
Possibly.
how much you've had to work hurt. Or chose to work hurt, because we don't have to
more
do
than
anything.
more than I would. I say more than I would like to, especially in not Dragon Gate, but Japan. You can't. At least I didn't feel comfortable being like, "Oh, I'm kind of hurting, so I don't want to do this match,"
Right.
unless it was like real bad. Because I have had friends who were actually I was like hurt pretty bad. They had to take off, you know. But I've had to work like with a bum shoulder. My shoulder, this left one actually, is real bad for me. My knees. I remember one time I did something to my knee and I literally couldn't walk on it, but we had shows and I just had to tape it up. But luckily they're really good about hiding stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I would only do something small in the match, then I'd be out for the rest of the match, and they'd do
Sure.
the rest. I'd be like tag matches. So
Yeah.
like they still had me out there, and but I wasn't doing very much. So
Yeah,
they
well,
did really well with that.
The six man or the tag. Usually, the six man is the best
Yeah.
place to be buried in when you're hurt. But now, when you were hurt, did you feel like you became a better worker because of it? Do you know what I mean?
Kind of, yeah, because I kind of had that. Like you kind of have to.
Yeah, you can't rely on that. You can't rely on the.
You can't rely on that.
I
So,
bet.
and you also kind of have to hide it.
Yeah,
If that makes sense, I'm actually hurt and I gotta hide it rather than like when you're supposed to hurt and you're supposed to show
Yeah.
everyone you're hurt. So
For-
it did maybe.
well, for
But
me,
also like I think it also hindered me to a point where like I shouldn't have even been walking on my ankle.
well, in that case, like, yeah, we shouldn't be doing it, but we're, somebody can tell us all they want, and unless
Yeah.
they're really like just say, forcing us not to do it, we're gonna do it. I mean,
Yeah.
if you give, if somebody asks a wrestler, hey, are you good to go? I can't recall, maybe
Yeah,
less than a handful
my
of times somebody going, oh no,
she
I
had
can't go.
My girlfriend broke her collarbone like the very first thing in the match.
Yeah.
Like the very first thing. Broke her collarbone. And then she like still like the referee's like, "Are you all right?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm good. You got a broken collarbone. You're not good." But she like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She still did the match. She still did the match.
Oh yeah, you got to do
So
it.
it's
man.
like, yeah, like you can't tell us. Yeah, you can't tell. Like I guess like you said, you can tell us, but
Yeah.
if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it
I just,
regardless.
for me, when what I mean by like I became a better worker due to being injured, it was I had just coming up with other ways of getting that reaction when you can't get it
Yeah.
your normal way,
When you can't get it the normal way,
Yeah.
yeah. But like you said, like, or like I said, like we were in like 6-man matches or 8-man tag matches sometimes, so they were more focused on kind of hiding me out of the way rather than me trying to get it. Like they would only literally I'd do one thing in the match and then I'd be out for the rest of the match. So again, they really helped because I still got paid. You know what I mean, for wrestling. I didn't,
Yeah, man.
because at the time I was getting paid per match. So
You got to be in the ring and working to get paid. Yeah.
yeah,
And
so
and that's the great thing about professional wrestling is that we can go out there and protect each other and look after
Yeah.
each other and cover up if somebody's hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Like, and sometimes it happens during the middle of the match, and you have to think of ways to like get around that.
Yeah.
To not. It's crazy how we have to just think on the fly, like just about crazy things, like instant reactions.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild sport, man.
I work hurt every time I get in the ring. I'm working through like some permanent injuries,
And-
and so when I get back from the match, I make sure to thank these guys for helping
Yeah.
me continue to make a living. I mean that's what they're doing out there when they're going out there and covering up the fact that I'm walking wounded. So.
And that's the thing. Like I get, especially if we've been wrestling for a while, none of us are 100%. Nobody's
Right.
100%. Like, I'm pretty sure half of us, there's probably something major wrong with us. If like a normal person would walk into the doctor with whatever was wrong with our bodies, they'd be like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you?" Something is wrong with every single one of us. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, we can certainly see how that would happen.
Before we let you
Yeah.
go, I know PWG is back February 18th, and you're wrestling Leo Rush, who's
Yes.
Oh, I know Leo.
young
Yeah. he's-
up-and-comer. I was wondering if there's any other young up-and-coming guys you have your eyes on in any federations that you'd like to work with or plan on having matches
I mean,
with.
there's a couple. There's a bunch of guys. There's a guy I would never tell him I like him, but a guy named Ethan Page, who's really
Oh.
good. I've had a really good tag match with him. It was like me and Uha versus him and Michael Elgin. I've wrestled. I think me and Ethan would have a great singles match nowadays, but he's a good one. Guy named Darby Allen. Have you heard of Darby Allen? He's in Evolve.
I have not.
No,
He's an evolved guy. He's brand like he's really new. I think me and Darby would have a really good match. He's crazy. He's like he'll do anything. So I think me and him could have a good one. And a guy named Jason Cade. He's just started. He's doing some evolved stuff. Jason Cade. His potential is really good. I think he's got a lot of potential. So he's a guy that I would like to wrestle. There's some more out there that.
Have you seen this Joey Janela guy?
I know Joey. Yeah.
I know Joey too. Yeah.
Because I saw him wrestle Leo and this other Southern California guy, Douglas James, at Pacific Coast Wrestling, and they had a great match. I was just thinking, like, oh man, Leo and Ricochet are gonna kill it at PWG.
No, I'm super excited for that. I've seen a bunch of Leo stuff. Obviously, I know Leo. I've met him a bunch of times, and it just never happened. I don't know why. So I think that's gonna be. And also, me and Shane Strickland has never had a match together.
Oh wow, that's so.
And
shocking.
I'm gonna wrestle him at Wrestling Revolver on April 1st.
Oh, for Sammy.
For Sammy's show. So that'd be our first time ever wrestling. And I think that's gonna be really cool.
Where
too.
are the Wrestling Revolver shows? Where does he run? Where does he run those?
I think where is he running? It's at noon. I don't know because like there's obviously different spots that day, but he normally runs the Wrestling Revolver out in Iowa. I think is where it usually runs.
Okay.
I think he's got one on May the 5th. It's called Wrestling Revolver pleads the 5th. It's funny, but
I love it.
I don't know where it's at. I want to say Iowa though. They're always really cool shows. I wanted to be on that one, but I think I'll be in Japan.
And what's your schedule like coming up? You're busy every weekend, right?
I'm literally busy every weekend. I'm busy almost every day of my life until like middle of June.
Now, what do you mean?
And that's only because like New Japan only books like 6 months in advance.
Yes.
So sometime in the next couple of months, I'll know my schedule after June too.
Well, where are you working that keeps you busy in the middle of the week?
Like, I just got back from Spain like last night, two nights ago. So a lot of it's the traveling during the week, but like I'll have to leave like Thursday to get there, Friday to wrestle Saturday or something like that, you know. But I'm wrestling like all these different places: Mexico, Costa Rica, Peru, England, Ireland, again Spain, Scotland.
I don't hear you mention in UK very much.
That's what I said. I'm wrestling in England on. Actually, this weekend I'm wrestling for Insane Championship Wrestling in Newcastle.
Wow.
Very good.
That's cool.
And then the weekend after that I got What Culture, which is also
nice.
It'll be somewhere in England. I forgot where.
They just hit over 1 million subscribers on their YouTube.
Yeah,
Nice.
so. That place is awesome. I just wrestled Cody and me and Tessa had a tag match there. It was awesome.
Oh, what was that like?
It was me and Tessa versus Will Ospreay and his girlfriend. And no, it was really cool.
That's
it was really
great.
good. Like we had a really like a lot of the people were like, "That's the best intergender match I've ever seen." Like it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I was really proud of Tessa, proud of B. Like they did really well. It was really good.
Do you think being a real life couple helps with that chemistry?
Yeah, I think so. Sometimes, because like sometimes we'll go to the ring and we'll just like practice stuff, and also like we have our little like back and forth things that we like to do. Like we had a match against each other a couple months ago, and that was really fun. So yeah, I think being an actual couple helps out a lot with that stuff, the in-ring chemistry.
That's cool. Well, no matter where you go or who you go up against, who your opponent is, we'll definitely be watching and be following along with you. This was great hearing from
Thank
you
you guys.
today.
Yeah,
Thank
this
you
was
so
awesome.
much.
This was so much fun. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I'm great.
Really great, especially considering how busy you are. Really grateful that you were able to give us some of your time today, man.
Yeah, not a problem.
And I can't heap enough praise on you for all the hard work you've done, and you deserve all the success that you have now and that you're going to have in the future, man. And that I guarantee you're going to have it. Thank you so much, man. Huge fan.
No, I appreciate it. Like again, it's still crazy to me that I don't know how to say it. It's crazy to me that this is still a thing. Like fucking X-Pac or Jim Ross.
Yeah.
I was on Stone Cold's podcast. Like,
Yeah, man.
literally, like the guys that I watched growing up.
That's what
Now,
happens, man.
I just got to meet them. Not only meet them, but like really talk to them and really get to like
That's what
insane to
happens.
me.
That's what happens when you follow your dreams. When you do what you're supposed to. You bust your ass, and you know.
You're right. Like you're right. Like
Yeah.
that's what I try to tell people. Like hard work does pay off.
Damn
Like
right it does.
if you work hard enough, it pays off. And again, like after meeting guys like you and Ray and Morrison and like Juice and Thunder Liger, like guys that I Stone Cold, Rock, whoever, after like getting like meet these guys and seeing like they're all genuine guys and still good guys, like it made my mental like state change. Like I just want to try to like help out anyone coming up and ask me like I want to try to help out everyone I can. Like I don't know, it's cool. Like again, like they say don't meet your idols, but I've had nothing but good experiences so far.
And that's really cool that's the case with you, because I know what it's like to meet one and they're an asshole. It sucks, man.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything you want to ask Sean before we let you go?
Um.
Time to
Don't
put
do
you on
that
the
to
spot.
him,
My
man.
bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't have anything ready.
Well,
Oh,
if we're gonna do that, people, we should let them know ahead of time.
Yes.
Note to self.
yeah,
But
I didn't have anything ready.
man, no, we just bring that on you like that. But hey, thank you so much again, man, and I really hope to see you soon, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try to make it out to PG. I just live right down the road from PWG. When you guys are here, I'm gonna definitely do my best to make it.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay, like I said, I'll be there February 18th, so maybe
Nice.
we can meet up or something.
Very cool. All right, man.
We'll see you there. Thank you so much.
All right, man. I'll see you guys. Thanks for having me on
man.
again.
Thanks,
It was
Ricochet.
a pleasure having you.
Bye-bye.
Nice.
All right. Well, that was awesome, and we will be right back on AfterBuzz TV.
Hey guys, Maria Menounos here. We want to let you know about my new show on SiriusXM Stars Channel 109. It's called Conversations with Maria, and it's live Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Go to conversationswithmaria.com for more info. Buzz you later.
Thanks for continuing to hang out with us, X-Pac 12360 fans. We just wrapped up with Ricochet, and you know, I think it's pretty cool that we have a lot of different kinds of conversations with people.
Yes.
You know, we've had legends, and we have a young guy like him who's out there just really doing it so well.
Yeah.
And man, I'm not, I'm not patting us on the back, but I think we're giving the people a lot of different viewpoints, and that's cool.
Yeah, and you two are fantastic, helping me out with this today, because there are a lot of things that, I just don't have time to. I mean, if I knew everything about every guest,
You always got something though, and you always seem to have met them at some point in time.
Oh, sure, yeah, yeah.
You're a true journeyman. Everyone knows you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like you get out in the world a little bit or something.
And also, besides just showing up and getting my money, I really want to try to pass along, the knowledge to these guys. And so I throw it out there for just about everyone, and the ones that are worth giving it to, they soak it in, and the other ones, it just goes right over their heads.
Mm-hmm. Ricochet seems like he's one of the ones who knows to listen.
Yeah. Hey, before we go, I just wanted to wish WSX, Wrestling Society X, happy 10th anniversary.
I thought you were going to wish Bruce Lee a happy birthday.
Well, I was going to do that next. Thanks, man. Shit, Jimbo. February 1st, today is the birthday of Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee, sharing it with Wrestling Society X.
So, yeah, well, I don't know about if February 1st is the actual anniversary of Wrestling.
No, Monday was the anniversary of when it aired on MTV.
Of its premiere.
Yeah.
So,
I'm following them on
10
Twitter.
years later.
I mean,
Crazy.
Okay, Seth Rollins was there, and we know that. People that didn't know that know it because they tweeted a picture out.
Oh, yeah, him and Jimmy Jacobs
Jimmy
hugging.
Jacobs. Matt Sydal. Who? Jeez.
Joey Ryan.
Yeah, Joey Ryan. Oh, my God.
X-Pac.
Now I'm drawing a blank, but
There's so many.
A lot of great stuff.
Jack Evans.
And for anyone that's never seen WSX, when they watch it, they're going to go, oh, my God, this looks an awful lot like Lucha Underground. So.
Oh, Oh, imagine that.
And Dog 20. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Human Tornado. There's quite the
Vampiro.
cast. Vampiro. Ricky Banderas, who's now
That's right.
Mil
Oh.
Muertes.
Muertes. Thank you.
That's a tough one to
Thousand
I'm all
spit out.
tongue-tied today.
Well, that was awesome. This has been so much fun, guys. My name is Christy Olson. You guys can always hit me up at Christy Reports, and make sure you please head on over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/X-Pac12360 show. Give us a little thumbs up. We always are offering extra exclusive content there, and on our Instagram at X-Pac12360. And you can, of course, get your very stylish X-Pac12360 t-shirts. They're not stylish, actually. They're just freaking cool. Show everybody that you're part of the crew and get one of those from Sean Waltman's store on ProWrestlingTees.com. We all have one. You guys want one too. Jimbo's got one.
Yeah,
Jimbo,
not today. I'm wearing my Ricochet shirt.
where can everybody hit you up at if they want to hear about
Follow
these
me on Twitter
fabulous
at
shirts?
Jimbo in the Booth. Buy my documentary, The Young Bucks 2 Sweet Journey at highspots.com. Lucha Underground, the second half of this season 3 will be back May 31st, and they just announced that they are going to be on Netflix. So congratulations
the rumors
to
are
Lucha Underground,
true.
and now everyone can see it.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, Sean, I don't know if you'll be watching and sharing your thoughts, but where would you be doing that if so?
I'll be doing it at The Real X-Pac on Twitter. That's where I'm doing it. I think I'm going to go watch Grunt, the wrestling movie.
I definitely want to go watch that movie.
Everyone should check that out. You can actually find it on YouTube right now, and it's a lot of people are going, "What?" Just look it up and
Just
watch
do
it. It's amazing.
Let's all do it. You guys too, all of
Yes.
us.
And
then
we'll talk about it next week.
That's right. All right, y'all.
Jinx. All right.
See you next week. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Phil Svitek, Kevin Undergaro, show producer Jimbo Frank, managing editor of AfterBuzz Wrestling Christy Olson, and managing producer of AfterBuzz Wrestling Mark Bidonica, and the entire X-Pac 12360 staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in. Feel free to like us on Facebook, rate and comment on iTunes and YouTube. Follow X-Pac on Twitter at TheRealXpac, and email us at xpac12360show@gmail.com. This has been a presentation of the AfterBuzz TV Network. Buzz you later!